Yeah, we're giving a speech over driving under the influence. So, okay. Have you ever sent a text while driving or had too many people in your car while you're driving and you realize that you're in the other lane almost hitting another car? Well, if you have, then you are guilty of driving under the influence. When people hear the phrase driving under the influence, majority of them think only about drinking and driving. But we're here to tell you today that there's more to driving under the influence than just drinking and driving. We know that majority of people, including us too, and especially college students, are all guilty of driving under the influence. Whether that be driving with a lot of friends in your car, sending a quick text, or changing the radio station. Today, we're going to talk to you about why you shouldn't drive under the influence, whether that being drinking and driving, driving while high, or being a distracted driver. A lot of people don't truly realize the risks of drinking and driving and like to brag about how good they are at it. No one is good at drinking and driving, and it's a major cause of death in car accidents. Around 29 people are killed daily from alcohol-impaired driving. Alcohol is a depressant, which means it reduces function of the brain, impairs thinking, impairs reasoning, and muscle coordination. The more alcohol that is in a person's system, the more impaired they actually are. Alcohol is metabolized in the liver and is measured by the weight of alcohol in a certain blood volume. This is called the blood alcohol concentration, or the BAC. Does anyone know what the legal BAC level is in Iowa?
0.08?
Yes, it is 0.08. So that's not a lot. So with that being said, any amount of alcohol that is in your body can affect your driving. So here are some steps that you can take to keep you and others from drinking and driving. If you're planning to go out and drink, plan to not drive. If you absolutely have to drive because you can't stay at the place, designate someone to be sober. And like I said, or just stay at that place. If you absolutely cannot stay there and no one stayed sober and you have to go home, I guess you don't call, but get a Lyft, get an Uber, call a taxi, or call like a friend or family member who is sober to come pick you up. Do not let someone drink and drive. So if you have to take someone's keys so they don't leave, then take someone's keys. And lastly, if you do see someone on the road that you think is driving impaired in any way possible, whether that be drinking and driving or just driving recklessly, you should contact your local law enforcement. Marijuana is classified as a depressant just like alcohol. So if it's illegal to drive with alcohol in your system, wouldn't you think it would also be illegal to drive with marijuana in your system? Since marijuana is legal in many states, many people think that it is okay to drive under the influence of marijuana, so to drive high. But what a lot of people don't know is that that is still illegal. A study conducted by Liberty Mutual Insurance and Students Against Destructive Decisions found that 1/3 of all teens believe it is legal to drive under the influence of marijuana. In addition, 27% of parents also believed it was legal. This is so dangerous because marijuana can alter perception, mental processes, attention, coordination, balance, quick decision-making skills, and other abilities that are needed for safe driving.
A tricky thing about driving while high is that there is not a way for a cop to test you to prove that you are high. If you are pulled over for suspected drunk driving, a cop will perform a sobriety test, whereas if you were suspected driving high, there is nothing that a cop can do to prove that you are high. Scientists are in the works of making a breathalyzer that can detect the levels of THC in your systems, but for now, if a cop suspects that you're driving while high, then they're more likely just to search your car, and that can lead to a more serious charge of possession, which can be a fine up to $2,000, time in jail, and mandatory drug testing. A lot of people think that drunk driving and driving while high are the only major forms of driving under the influence, but little do they know that distracted driving they do while changing the radio station or having too many people in their car is also under the influence. Many people mess with the radio, send texts, takes a call, or use their GPS while driving. Anything that takes away your attention from safe driving is distracted driving. That text, call, radio, or passengers can wait. Just think to yourself, is it worth death or injury? During the daylight hours, 481,000 drivers are using their phones while driving. Talking and texting are the most common distraction. Sending or reading a text can take your eyes off the road from 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, this would be equivalent to driving across a football field with your eyes closed. Let that sink in. Distracted driving is growing to be one of the biggest health concerns. 9 people are killed every day in crashes that result from distracted driving. Distracted driving includes taking a photo, looking at your GPS, eating and drinking, changing the station, or just having too many passengers in your car. Distracted driving includes everything that takes your attention away from the road. You can help reduce the amount of distracted driving by pulling off the road to look at your phone, make a call, or check a map. Friends are the greatest influences on other friends. If your friends are distracted driving, call them out. Educators can spread the word by making them more aware about distracted driving and the dangers. Parents also play a big role. They can lead this by not doing it and talking with their kids about it. It's easy to be distracted while driving, and today it seems like there's so many other things on the road to look at than the safe driving, but don't let driving become deadly by being distracted. There are many ways to drive under the influence, and we have shared with you some of them today. These, of course, are not the only ones, but are very important. There are many ways you can be safe while driving, and you can never be too cautious. When in doubt, don't get in a vehicle with someone who is driving under the influence, whether it because they are drunk, stoned, or just distracted in general. There are a lot of stressful things about being in college student for not only you, but for your family also. And don't stress yourself or your family more than they need to be by getting in an accident due to driving under the influence.